was somewhere 2000 daydream. I was hiding, I couldn't face things. I used to live my life in I felt out of sync, audio phasing. Felt like I couldn't find my place in. Sky shivers, they turn to rain. I turn again, I wish we could heal. I'll take you home, I'll make you whole. You make me wish that this wasn't real. Because you're my treasure. Because you're my treasure. I used to live my life in the wind. And I would fly wherever it was wind. I couldn't stand by you or anything. Sky shivers, they turn to rain. I turn again, I wish we could heal. I'll take you home, I'll make you whole. You make me wish that this wasn't real. Because you're my treasure. Because you're bad habits and good times. Now let's take a risk. Don't none lies. Don't smile, you just might cry. Go round the roundabout like 5 times. With 2 scratches, hard drive. Local appetites decline. Watch the heaven, recline. Watch the heaven, watch the sun die. Breathing is a challenge that I don't wanna lose, but I need it, gotta have it. So stuck, 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 so stuck. So stuck, 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 so stuck.
Brighter Light Podcast. It's Anthos, and I'm not by myself today because Kelly is back.
Woo!
What is up?
Not a lot of life, but not anything, that would be like, hey, this is fantastic. Just a lot of normal life stuff.
That's good.
It is.
Too. It's about damn time.
I know. I keep putting it off and putting it off.
Yeah, you have. You put it off forever. It's been, what's it been? It's been like 2 years or something. It feels like it.
Yeah, I think it's 2 years.
And you have nothing special to report?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I started working outside the house instead of, because I always had my own business, and it was tough to do with my kids and everything, and I ended up working at Verizon Wireless, and I've been there for a year. Actually, in 2 days it'll be a year. I love it. It's it's just a really fun job. So
Nice.
that
You
changed.
kind of dropped out of the XJW scene altogether, didn't you?
I did. I needed to really focus on my own life and what was going on in it,
Right.
because the truth is, I spent so many hours a day on that stuff that my actual family life was suffering, and I didn't realize it was taking so much away from my real life.
So it wasn't anything in particular with the
It
with
was
the
not the
XJW
community.
It was
No,
okay.
it was not the community. It was my own personal life. I have, I've talked about my kids before. They have a background before they were mine that affects their life every single day. And, they have special needs that they needed their mom.
Got it.
And so, I needed to focus on that and my marriage and, just being I don't know. I mean, it's not like my marriage was suffering because I was on Facebook, but like my whole life was. It was
Right.
just hours,
Right. Yeah, it was really crazy. Like when I first met you, Facebook,
Yeah.
and it felt like so many of us were so addicted
Oh,
to
yeah.
the groups.
Yep.
Because once I found everybody, I wanted to be everybody's friend.
I know. Me too. But I love
Bring everybody
people
into my life.
so much. Yeah. But
Right.
I love people, and I'm incredibly social. That's why, I mean, really, it was such a void filler for me because I was a stay-at-home mom. Like,
Right.
I needed social, and my job now fills that. I get so
Right.
many people that I'm interacting with constantly, that really fills that void, but it benefits my family because I'm making money. So it's not just me, hanging out online all day
Right.
and being a hermit.
Yeah, I really needed everybody when I first jumped into the community.
Yeah.
So it was just so great to hear everybody else that, all the other people with the same background who felt the same way, who went through the same bullshit.
Think
It was so
about
fun.
what connects us. So, like, how do you make friends? I mean, how do you relate to people when people, like, you say something and someone else is like, yeah, me too, Then you're like, oh, you get it,
Right, exactly.
That's huge. Even if your personalities are totally different, if you have a shared experience or, a shared interest, it bonds you.
Right.
I'm incredibly grateful for the community. Incredibly grateful.
Me too. I met a few really good friends.
You?
Yeah, and found some old ones because of it.
Aw, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm your favorite.
You're my favorite.
I have this
You're
thing
my
where
favorite
I want to
friend.
be the favorite. I want everyone to think I'm their favorite.
You're as favorite as you can be at this point.
I think it's cool that you found her. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. What Kelly is talking about is our friend Autumn.
Pretty Autumn.
Pretty Autumn.
Mm,
She was on our episode 11, I think it was.
I think so. Isn't it weird that we know the episode numbers?
Yeah. I don't
I
think I
know.
know. I don't think I know it with all of them.
Yeah.
But
There's certain
that
ones,
one
yeah.
that one I do. I think yours was episode 6.
Mhm.
The one when you first came on, right?
The very first one, I thought that was the last straw was episode 6. Is that not right?
The last straw was like episode 18.
Oh, God, really? I did that many? Okay. I
Yeah.
don't remember. That's crazy.
You're on most of them, I feel like. Or
Yeah,
at
we
least
did a
half.
lot. We did a lot.
Yeah. We were doing them like every Wednesday.
Mhm.
And then when you stopped, I think I did 2 more.
Uh-huh.
2 more? 3 more?
Yeah.
But I just stopped doing it because I just felt like I struggled through each episode by myself.
It's nice to have someone to play off your ideas,
Yeah.
I listen to Howard Stern, and he's always like bouncing stuff off of his producer Robin,
Right.
That's like it's a good team.
Yeah.
Sometimes a team effort is better,
For me, at least, yeah. I felt like I struggled through them, and I mean, people didn't think so. I guess from what I've heard, but it just I don't know.
Well, maybe it's your comfort level. Your comfort level,
Right.
feeling like you have something to say if someone's, hearing you, as opposed to just being the announcer.
I always said that you sisters had it so much better when you gave talks because you guys got to sit with somebody else and face them and talk to each other, whereas we had to stand up at the podium and talk straight to the audience. So maybe this is that same type of thing here. You're my
so
householder.
Weird. Yeah. Oh, God.
Is that what it was? The householder?
Householder, yep.
And what was
I always wanted to be at the podium because, I don't have a fear of public speaking at all. I just don't. I never have. I love to address a crowd.
You're nuts.
I know that's shocking.
What is wrong with you?
I know. That's people's biggest fear is public speaking. A very high percentage of people. I don't remember the stats anymore, but yeah, that's a huge thing for people. I'm I love that. I got everybody's attention. That does not speak well of me.
Yeah, that was so
I want to be
terrible.
everybody's favorite, and I want everyone's attention on me. That's not okay.
I am cool to be in the background and not be seen.
Really?
I will stand in a conversation with a bunch of people standing around in a circle talking, and there are times, plenty of times, when I'm perfectly fine to stand there and not say anything and listen to everybody else talk.
I don't mind.
If I can get away with that. But,
Yeah.
a lot of people think that that's weird, so I force myself. But, yeah.
I don't think it's weird. I mean, if you're a good listener, that's a really good skill to have. I tend to have so many things pop into my brain that they just jump out of my face while I'm in a circle talking.
Right.
I have to put my 2 cents in. It's just my wheels are always going.
Yeah, I'm an introvert, I think. I am.
It's funny that you would have a podcast and do so much stuff that's more public and feel like you're an introvert.
Yeah, I guess I'm not.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you are. What really technically constitutes an introvert? Someone who wants to be more, alone or not as social, but on one-on-one. You're good. I don't know. I've never considered myself an introvert.
No, I can't see how you could.
No. But I mean, because I like to, but the one thing is I do have to recharge because I'm if I'm around people, I tend to be kind of on, even in a, even like this, if we're just talking on the phone or something, I'm kind of on, but afterward, I really enjoy my alone time too. My commute's about a half an hour. That's precious time to me. I like driving that far. I would trade it if I had a closer job or something, but I enjoy my alone time as well.
Right. Hey, you got to see this. I need to take a picture and send it to you. My puppy is standing at the door.
Shadrach?
Eyeballing. Shadrach.
Was that on the fly or what the heck?
It was all on the fly.
That was amazing. Our puppy Shadrach.
We decided on the way. What we're talking about is there's the previous upload to this episode. Autumn and our friend Janice and I went to go see Beth Sarim. We found out that we live 15 minutes away from there, so we're like, oh, we gotta go see it. And on the way, I was like, you guys want to do something fun? Yeah, it was all improv. Now there was a lot.
7 or 8 minutes, but I died laughing the whole time. It was amazing. It was great.
Autumn killed me.
She's so funny.
Judge Rutherford. Was he a real judge?
That was awesome. And then Janice is like, no, he was just very firm.
Powerful.
I love it though when you were like, what did you call her, sister something or other?
Sister Hutch and Sister
something like that. Had to bring her puppy because he's not old enough to be alone, and you called him Shadrach, and she's like, and he loves service, and you're like, you can definitely tell he loves Jehovah. You can definitely tell. And your voice in that, oh my goodness. That's so typical of a man trying to be a good person and totally emasculating himself.
Right.
That's what all JW men are like. We have to be peaceful, so we have to talk really quiet and monotone.
Right.
Uplift everybody's spirit like a broken dog.
Funniest part about it is the people on Reddit talking about it.
I have not looked that up, but I'm dying to see what they're saying.
They are like damn near pissed off. Are you in front of your laptop?
I am.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a link.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And they're just positive that they're listening to a real video, because one person said, they're saying all these things, and like if they're just joking, like nobody's laughing at all during this thing.
Right.
Little did they know this 7-minute video was like 24 minutes. So there's like cuts all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's
laughing.
Yeah, we're not laughing.
Really funny.
We laughed a lot, actually.
It was hilarious when you were like, there was another scene where you were talking about, which house do you want in the new system? And then then you were like talking about, yeah, but we have to clean up all the debris. And I think it was Autumn was like, the birds are going to peck all their eyeballs out. Like, just so sweet and innocent, but still, it's so weird. It's like, what? Like, it just kind of slipped in there. She was like, the birds are going to, I think she said, like, pick their eyes out or something like that.
Right.
The birds are going to pick their eyes out. Just threw that in there. No one, it just glossed over.
Yeah, she does that's just like a character that she does every now and again, like while we're just talking, and she cracks me up every time with that.
Oh my God, she's hilarious.
She's agreed to do a series of videos as Sister Needlemeyer videos.
Sister Needlemeyer, that was the one that I was trying to remember.
Isn't there always somebody in your congregation named something like that?
Something odd, yes.
Sister Needlemeyer.
Needlemeyer. Yep.
So I just sent you the link to Reddit, the Reddit.
You text it to me?
Oh, it's right here in the chat.
Okay, so what's going on here with my chat? I'm not sure. It's all weird. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Oh my gosh, this is great. Apostate-driven lies. You can't believe everything you hear. Oh, it's in our publication. Really?
There's some good sarcasm on Reddit. Right there. Are these guys JWs? They keep calling each other brother/sister. Talking about counting time, and it's fucking cringe. Oh, and someone said no.
Yeah,
they have a podcast.
They have a podcast. Yeah.
They're joking about it. Where's this one? This is a really good one. Scroll down some more.
Okay. I never heard about it until Dane, actually, my husband, when I was still in, he was talking about Beth Sarim and the prophets coming back, and I thought he was lying, that he had read some sort of apostate stuff, and they were trying to, oh, let's throw this out there, that the JWs are crazy. And then it turned out it was, yeah.
You thought, damn, that's a good one. These people are fucking nuts.
And I thought, poor Dane is listening to all this garbage and trying to convert me.
I think I just vomited in my mouth. These people talk like drugged hippies on acid. Sound like complete lunatics. One guy doesn't even have lunch money while she drives a Lincoln. This is not normal behavior. It's cult talk if I ever heard it. Gross.
It's mimicking cult talk, but awesome. Yes.
It's so obvious, no?
Well, no. That's the thing. That's how JWs talk. Okay, I literally did a little bit of a Facebook stalk on, so my mom's best friend growing up, she had a daughter that was like a year older than me, and we were like forced friends because you know how that goes when your parents have friends and stuff. She was the most evil-hearted, mean person one of still to this day. She was just, even as adults, I was like, she did make me cringe. She was so just unkind. And so the brother that was like the same age-ish as my brother, I had seen him and I was like, I wonder what the family's up to. And I looked on Facebook and I found her. And I read some of the stuff. Literally, I freaking verbatim of what you guys said on there was like, she was on vacation, took a picture of a house, and she's like, I'm going to take this house in Armageddon.
Oh, my God.
Yes. And it was like, do you not realize what you're saying?
Right.
Like, nobody realizes, like, you don't just get some rich person's house. That means that they have been, like, destroyed. They've been executed for, lack of love. Not that we have lack of love as Jehovah's Witnesses.
Why would you want that house, right?
But serious. Like, when Autumn said, they're going to pick their eyeballs out. The birds are going to pick their eyeballs. Literally. Like, dead bodies. If you really picture, like, what it is what, maybe 10% of people would survive? I don't know what the percentage of witnesses are to the rest of the entire globe. Right. But, hey, I want that dead dude's house that God
10%
killed.
is probably high, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't see who would want to do that. But you just reminded me of something funny, a funny thought that I had not too long ago. And I actually asked on Twitter, XJW Twitter. So, witnesses don't like to get stuff from garage sales. Why? Because you might bring home demons. Now, my question was to Twitter, how come Jehovah's Witnesses never worry about getting demons from buying a used car?
Yeah, who knows? It might have been owned by an occultist.
Right?
Yeah.
And then someone took it a step further and said, how about a used house? Right?
How about houses
demons home? You already got them there.
No kidding. What about a house that's built by someone who's into witchcraft? Shudder.
Right. That stuff was never an issue, was it?
Nope, ever. And you know what's funny is there's a story that brings to mind. So when I first moved to California years and years ago, we stayed with another witness family that were like my parents' friends. And they told us a story about the Batman that came out with Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He had that poster of Michael Keaton as Batman in his room. And all kinds of weird stuff happened. Somebody had given it to him. It was like he worked for somebody and they gave him a bunch of stuff and all these terrible, weird, crazy things. And like the eyes kept following him around like every other. Photographs make if you look at a photo from any angle, the person's eyes look like they're looking at you. It's just the way it is.
Right.
So the eyes followed him and he started having really bad dreams. And once they got rid of the poster and all the other things that the guy had given him and prayed and stuff, then it was fine.
Batman poster.
Batman.
Ridiculous.
Not
that Batman.
Demons. Oh.
Demons.
Sorry.
Demons.
I'm just reading all this Reddit stuff and I am dying. Poor guy can't afford a 99-cent cheeseburger.
But that's true, though, right?
It is. There were the really super rich witnesses, and then the dirt poor. Like I grew up poor. Like I was the Kool-Aid drinking, bologna sandwich with just mayonnaise and white bread. 39-cent loaf of white bread. That was what we had. Like if we had a 99-cent cheeseburger, I would have sounded just like you in that video. Jehovah provided. She, Mr. Whatever, treated. Isn't she wonderful?
We were so poor that I didn't even ask for a cheeseburger when I was a kid. I just knew the answer.
You know what's weird? I loved when I was very, very young going out in service because I knew there would be lunch.
Oh, right. There would be somebody.
Like the lunch would be great. Like we would go to. So I lived in South Seattle as a little kid, and I don't know in California if they ever had them, but there was this fast food chain called Herfy's.
No.
No. Okay. So like they had.
What is it called?
Herfy's. Herfy. Herfy's.
What a horrible name. Sounds
Isn't
too much
that
like
awful?
herpes.
I know. So we used to always go there, and then they closed down, and McDonald's actually took the exact same spot, and then it was McDonald's. But like that was like I couldn't wait. We were going to actually have a restaurant meal.
Right.
So that was always a treat.
Right. Or at least a donut or something, right?
I remember donuts. I just don't. I was very little when my parents were really into being witnesses when I was very little. And then they kind of weren't the good witnesses anymore for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh gosh, I have to pick up the slack and be the savior of the family because I was that girl and, the good witness and stuff. But after I was really young, we never really went out in service as a family. Didn't. I went and I was the martyr. I was doing it,
Right.
That was the good one.
Did you ever have certain people that you wound up being in the same car with during field service when you were a kid, and you knew that when it was over, that they're probably going to be like, "You want to go to Burger King or something?"
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the car group you wanted to hop along.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
a cute little girl. I was like, "Can I go with you?" Yeah. Oh, can we take Kelly? Yeah. Yeah. I was a bubbly little outgoing kid with blondie brown curls, and I just loved everybody, and I was a good kid, and so no one ever had a problem taking me.
I loved when we ran out of territory really quick. We had to.
Oh my gosh! What do we do? Break.
Return visits. Return visits. So it's a bunch of riding around in the car.
No, that was so much better. Let's do return visits.
Yeah.
While I was servicing him.
I can't believe they didn't get it from that. You guys got to watch the video. If you haven't seen it yet. It says,
so it's such an awesome parody. And the little innuendo-y things, but still in very much a JW character. It was great. It was great. While I was servicing him. Sister, you were servicing him?
You can get disfellowship for that.
Yeah, disfellowship. That's awesome. Oh, my favorite is I'm going to talk to the elders, and you're like, no, I'll turn myself in.
That's how it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't dare tell the person not to. Right. That would have been really bad.
Oh, yeah. And it was so much better to go to the elders and turn yourself in first before someone reports you. Oh, my gosh. I better confess. Get in trouble.
Watched an R-rated movie. I feel so horrible. I watched an R-rated movie and there was so much cussing in it.
Oh my gosh. So I was maybe 21, maybe not even 21 yet, maybe 20. And I went to the theater to chaperone my brother and his, at the time, girlfriend, because my sister was like, you better go with them. And they watched, I think it's called Diabolique. It was Sharon Stone and that real weird, high-pitched voice girl. I can't think of her name. Dark hair. Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, okay.
You know that? Diabolique?
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't see it.
They were lesbians. They ended up being lesbians, had an affair, killed someone's husband. So, rated R movie.
That's not what it was called. That's not what it's called. I saw that movie.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No, but yeah, she was, Jennifer Tilly was married to a bad guy, right?
And then they had some sort of, again, this was well over 20 years ago. You
saw that as a witness? As a doing well witness?
I saw it as a doing well witness and got in so much trouble because I was like
The movie's called
torn.
Bound.
Oh my gosh.
You-
I was
you would
so
think-
torn. Because
Did
my
you hear me?
sister, Unbound,
No,
sorry,
it was just Bound.
Bound. That's what it was called?
I think so.
Oh.
Go ahead and
Okay.
tell me while I look.
Sorry about that. So
I'm sorry.
I was living with my older sister, and she didn't want them to be alone. And they were going to go to the movies, and she's like, take Kelly. And then that's the movie they saw. And so, like, I got in trouble for seeing it, but at the same time, I felt like I was, like, doing the right thing by not letting them be alone. You know, saving their virtue.
And were you glad that you went?
Well,
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
it was a good movie, but at the time, it was horrific. It was shocking for the general public because at that time, like lesbians and anything homosexual.
Yeah, that wasn't
like,
mainstream at all yet.
Ooh, no. Like now, it would be kind of tame. No big
Yeah,
deal.
it would be nothing. It would be nothing at all now.
At the time, that was like, I mean, there was stuff all over TV about it. It was on the news. It was on every talk show.
And it was a very steamy movie too.
Super steamy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Hey, the directors, Lena Wachowski and Lily Wachowski. Do you know who they are?
No.
They had a huge little franchise of movies called The Matrix.
Really? That's the same?
They used to be the Wachowski brothers. They are now both are women now.
Interesting.
Should be, huh?
How cool. Well, that's amazing to me.
I'm saying it's trippy, but they're now sisters.
Both of them.
The Wachowski brothers are now the Wachowski sisters.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I got myself into a little bit of trouble
Whoa.
on this Brighter Light podcast.
Why?
I interviewed someone who was going through a bit of drama for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen it because it like spilled over onto Twitter.
Mm.
And so I asked him about it. And
Yep.
no. He was very willing. He was very willing to talk about it. And he went into great detail, and it was one-sided. So, you know, the other person wasn't available to
Mm-hmm.
speak their piece, and so yeah, it got pretty bad for him. But I had a rough weekend. I'll tell you that much.
So, can you go
It was
into what
interesting.
happened? More
No.
than what, no. Okay.
No,
You're like, I'm
dude.
good. I've been there, done that.
It was so bad that I had to. Not only did I pull the video, but I had to like make I felt the need to. I didn't have to. I felt the
Like
need
make
to make a follow up to that. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Well, now I'm dying to know. You can't just do that.
You'll know. I'll tell you.
Okay.
But not on here. I'm
this
crazy
someone
to
I
even mention
know?
it again right now.
Is this someone I know?
Probably not.
Okay.
No.
So you could cut this whole part out if you want.
Yeah, I probably will. So, the last time Kelly and I decided that we were going to definitely get together on here was when the Michael Jackson documentary came out, Leaving Neverland. Did you watch it?
Did not. So I made a conscious choice not to because
Just keep listening to
I
it?
know how that stuff affects me. And I watched a couple of videos that were about it, and it was bothering me. And I just know I'm so super empathic, empathetic, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you don't need to see
I
it
didn't
then.
want it
If
to.
you-
I didn't
what
want
you're
it to.
saying
affect
right now, you don't need to see
Yeah.
this. It's bad.
Yeah, and I have two kids, and you know, with abuse in their history, I've had serious abuse, and I just, you know, it was something that for me, I thought, you know what, I don't want to go into a deep dark place.
Yeah, that movie. Yeah, you'll be in a very deep, dark
Yeah.
place watching that. But it's crazy to think he was able to do this because of, you know, the parents pretty much sold the kids out, right?
And that happens so often.
You know who else sold the kids out though when you think about it? Because he had friends like that from his congregation as well.
Yep.
and so the elders had to turn a blind eye
Of
for whatever
course.
reason, right?
Well, think about it. Any celebrity who is considered or grew up or whatever associated somehow with the witnesses, they
Right.
don't care.
Right.
The oh gosh, I can't think of their name. The tennis sisters,
Yeah,
Venus
the Williams.
and
Williams
the
girls.
Williams, right? Wrapped themselves in an American flag
Yeah.
and did all kinds of photo shoots that were very, like, considered provocative.
Oh, very.
Um,
and
and-
some of their outfits on the tennis court.
And no one cares.
So,
Because
Serena
I'm
looked
sure
like
they're
she was
donating-
naked one time.
Yep. Yeah. But that's
Yeah, without
okay.
getting all kind of money.
Well, think of Prince. I mean, Prince, he was an active witness. He went door to door. But think of his music. And maybe he didn't perform it, but he certainly made tons of money off it.
Right.
You know, once he became a witness, I don't know that he was producing the same type of material, but he didn't pull it. Like, he made a lot of money off it. You can make a conscious choice not to receive those, you know, royalties from that stuff if that's not okay with you.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
he could.
that's, you know,
He could have gave up his points, and other people could have made more money.
absolutely.
I never thought about that.
Of course.
But you know, if there was
I
I'm sorry, huh?
Just turned a blind eye.
Right. I'm just trying to think if there was another brother in the congregation in his 20s who was spending a lot of time with a 11-year-old, what the brothers would say to that.
Actually, you know, the thing is, I have seen where older men spent time with women or young girls, I should say. Never an adult woman, always, you know, teen and younger. And brothers, you know, the elders turned a blind eye to it. I don't remember ever looking at because I was a kid still. I mean, I was in my early 20s when I left.
Right.
I had no concept of that kind of thing with boys. It took me a long time to actually realize, oh my gosh, boys can be victims as well.
Yeah.
Because I didn't at least think about boys as victims. I never did.
Yeah, you really don't. But you know, I recently came to the realization that I was sexually abused when I was in second grade.
Yeah.
And I never thought of it as abuse until later on in life. And I wonder how many other men are out there who don't realize that they had been sexually abused.
Absolutely. I watched a documentary about this man who was from Spain, and he had been like an altar boy and associated with the Spanish Catholic Church. And I forget the name of it. But like, he went to all these different places. These priests raped and fondled and every single degree of abuse. There was all these different priests that did this stuff to these boys, and they were reported. And the church wasn't only neutral, they actually turned on the families.
Wow.
They turned on the families, not the priest. They would move the priest, or they would just, you know, turn a blind eye to it. But that's the thing. You are not going to be a popular person. You're not going to be, oh, you poor thing, let's fix this. It was always, always buried.
So disgusting.
It's horrid. I remember
It's
that
so
when I
rampant.
told my mother that I had been molested, I was 14 years old. And the first thing out of her mouth was, don't tell your father. That's the very first, she wasn't like, grab me, hug me.
Not
oh my
all
gosh,
our,
it's
yeah.
a baby.
Right.
Nope. Don't tell your father. Which also meant don't tell anyone.
Right.
And
did you not tell anyone?
I never told anyone else after that until I was much older.
Oh, that's sad.
I didn't. I never got help for that until I was an adult. And I mean, you know, it was there. I have been through some stuff, you know. But yeah, there was zero help, and it was a witness person who had molested me.
Wow.
Yep.
Well,
She didn't want
to go to the elders about it?
Oh my gosh, that was not even brought up that could be a possibility. at all.
Why?
I think because it was a boy, it wasn't a man.
She just couldn't handle it? Is that what it was? She just kind of like broke down?
No, my mother was not easily broken. She was ashamed. She didn't want my dad to be angry and take matters into his own hands. Yeah, there was no talking about stuff like that back then, or at least in my family. Everything was super, super private. Anything that happened within the family stayed within the family. Like, we had this outward appearance of, like, a perfect little happy, 2 boys, 2 girls, and, happy little family. And it was 180 degrees different than that. I think some people saw through it.
Right.
In fact, I know people did, but that was what they were trying to portray.
When was the last time you talked to your mother?
So in the last part of November, my father passed away. And then days later, she called me. So I didn't hear until a day after that he had passed away from my brother, who also is not a Jehovah's Witness, but still he never was baptized, and he kind of believes, I think, a little bit. Right. He doesn't like some of the stuff, but he still kind of supports that. He let me know. And then a few days after that, my mother got in contact with me. And she was, I felt really bad for her because she had lost her husband of 50 years almost. And, she was talking about how horrible it was. And I, it wasn't about me at all. And that was fine. And then as she was telling me, she just has been going through all this stuff. And she goes, so I was wondering, and as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, she needs something. Mm-hmm. And I just felt my body just kind of like, oh, here it comes. And she's like, do you have any pictures of you and your dad? Because I don't. And I was like, no, Mom.
Wait, she actually wanted that?
Yeah. They're going to make a collage.
And they're going to include the disfellowship daughter? I'm shocked.
Yes. Oh, he was a wonderful father. Everything about him was... I should go grab his little obituary thing that somebody gave me. And it talks about, his love of family was only surpassed by his love of Jehovah.
What?
Yeah. So they wanted pictures, or she wanted pictures of me and my father.
Loving his family.
Yeah. So they don't have any photos of me and him.
Wow.
They have 0.
And why don't they have any photos of you and him?
Exactly. So she wanted to know if I did, and I was like, no, I don't. And she's like, well, do you know who might? And I was like, probably Aunt, and I'm not going to say her name on here, but my aunt. And she goes, well, can you get in touch with her and, see if she can send me some photos?
Kelly, I can't believe you didn't ask her why she didn't have any pictures of you.
In the moment, I was still raw from my dad dying. Right. And I was like, it was like my husband was watching me during this conversation, and he kind of told me what I was doing body language wise after. Uh-huh. And the thing is, she gets me. Like, every time she manipulates me, and I still kind of fall into that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You fall into the daughter.
What she wants, the daughter role.
Right.
Yeah. And so I said, yeah, I would ask my aunt to get photos. And then I was like so upset after the fact. I was pissed, and I was like, I can't believe the only reason she called me is blah, blah, blah. And my husband was like, why didn't you just say no? I was like, I don't know. I just fall into that. I mean, as soon as I felt bad for her too. I mean, she's just lost her husband, but the only reason she called me is because she needed something. And then
felt bad for her, but how is she though? Is she fine because she's going to see it again in the new system?
I don't know. I mean, if I had lost Dane, I don't think that I would have been as, like, I don't know that I would have the wherewithal to be like, we're going to make a collage, you know?
Right.
I think I would have delegated that to, you know, like my adult sister who's still a witness or something like that, you know?
How long had
I
he
would
been
not
dead?
have made that call. Huh?
How long had he been dead?
I think it was about 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast to be thinking
Yeah.
about.
They didn't actually have his funeral. Like, he died November 20th, and they didn't have his funeral for the 1st of December.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't ask, and I wasn't privy to anybody discussing anything with me.
Right. So that's not funny, but
It is. Like, I wasn't like, you know.
So ridiculous.
Just, I mean, it was like, you know. So, like, I got so much information from my aunts, like, about stuff, like, how he died and like, how he had been on dialysis and all of this horrible stuff. He'd been, you know, and they finally, like, he was in hospice. No one called me. But, so the last time that I had spoken to my father was about 4.5 years ago. And, I mean, I think I talked about it on here, where it was like...
Yeah,
like,
you were scared that he was might have made sure you were going to get into the new system. Was that time?
Well, that was actually when I first left. This was like,
Okay.
He was in his bed. He was refusing to have dialysis. And I just went down there because I felt like he was not going to make it. And I wanted to be able to talk to him.
Yep. Then he got violent with you on this one.
He did. He absolutely did.
Yeah.
Like, pushed me away and hit me off of it because I tried to hug him and he hit me off of him and
Oh my goodness.
told me, like, you know, he hoped that my children betrayed me the way that I had betrayed him, and just all kinds of horrible things.
Who says that to somebody they love? That's just crazy.
There's no love. There's no love.
Right.
And it is really difficult for me to, like...
So did you go to the funeral?
I did not.
Were you invited?
I was. And so that's the other part of this story is, you know, she was saying that, well, I'll let you know where it is and when and all this stuff because whatever. Well, she never did. My aunt did. And she did, however, text me the day before the funeral and ask me what my children's names were. Because I should read this text thing to you because I didn't delete it. She was like...
Go ahead and get it.
I am. I'm actually looking it up right now. I have her down as my mother. Okay, so this... Okay.
You have her down as your mother? What do you mean?
Okay, here's what I
You mean that's what it says, my mother?
My phone is my mother. It's not. It's not like mom, you know. Is that funny? Okay. So it says, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to think straight enough to write out Dad's obituary, and I can't think of your kids' names for sure. Could you text them to me, please? So far, this is a horrible day. P.S. It goes to the printers late today. So,
God.
yeah. I said, I don't want their names in the obituary. And she goes, it's the one passed out at the Kingdom Hall, not the newspaper at all. I said, I still don't want it there. She goes, and this is like over long periods of time between responses, right?
Right.
And she wrote, okay, that's fine. Okay to put you and Dane? I said, you can if you want to. So so when I first started fostering my kids, we were in this brief window of communication. And then, like, it cut off when they had that, like, thing at the district convention where, you know, don't make excuses, even emailing or texting your children, you know, to keep in touch with them if they're disfellowshipped. So she quit communicating after that. But there was this brief window where I was like, I talked to her a lot about my kids and what they'd been through and how it was going. And so she's like, I forget their names. And I was just like,
you can keep on doing that.
Yeah. So I was like, you forgot their names. So why ask their mother? That to me is painful.
Right.
Why not ask my brother or my aunt who do know them and have actually met them?
Right.
Because she hasn't. She's never even met them.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't want them in the obituary.
So
They
she
are
doesn't even
not
care. She doesn't even care what their
grandchildren.
names are. Obviously.
No, she didn't. And then, so in the obituary, it says my name, and my husband's name is Dane, and they wrote Kelly and Diane. And I was like, everyone's gonna think I'm lesbian.
Oh,
Yay!
perfect, right?
I thought that was fab. Yeah, I was so excited about that little typo, and I don't know if that was on purpose or not. I don't care. I think it's fabulous.
Right.
Kelly's a lesbian.
Yeah, that was a common conversation that night.
I hope so.
Did you see that? Who's Diane?
Yeah, who's Diane? So the thing is, my heart, I just couldn't do it. And I had said goodbye to him in the most horrible way 4 years prior. He yelled at me. He's like, the next time you see me is at my funeral. And I'm like, all of these different layers of this, I was like, I said my goodbye a long time ago, and I'm not going to his funeral. And when she passes away, I'm not going to hers because I'm not their daughter. I'm not. What? They disowned, you know?
What an awful thing for a person to say to somebody, but especially somebody who claims to be a child of Jehovah, you know?
I know.
The next time he was like, come on, really?
Well, he wanted me to suffer because I was his sidekick. I thought the sun rose and set on his ass. I thought he was the most brilliant, smart, wonderful, amazing superhero alive.
So when you got this fellowship, you ruined it.
I ruined everything. And he even told me, no one has ever betrayed me like you've betrayed me.
Wow.
And it wasn't against him at all. It was just my views didn't align with Jehovah's Witnesses. But instead of being like, I love you anyway, you're my daughter, he was like, you stabbed me. I think there was some serious weirdness though. Like, I feel like he treated me in a role that was not just a daughter. Like, I was his confidant. I was his sidekick. I was a partner. I mean, he revealed things to me that he told me he'd never told my mother. Mm-hmm. It was not healthy, but I didn't know it because it was all I knew.
Right.
If my husband treated my daughter the way that my dad treated me, he would not be my husband. I'm not kidding. And I adore him, but he would not be my husband.
Right.
And you know, my mom treated me like crap because she was jealous of that and blamed me. And instead of being like, you know what, you're sick, fuck her, stay away from her, she just hated me for it.
So crazy.
It is. It's really messed up. And, you know, it's just rampant in the Jehovah's Witness culture of weird abuse and people who don't have fucking boundaries. And, you know, it's crazy.
Too crazy.
It is. It's crazy. So.
You brought up your daughter just now, and I have a question for you. How would you feel about the next time that we talk? Hopefully we're going to do another one soon. Can we talk about your daughter a little bit next time and go into that subject?
Wonderful little personality and gifts.
Yeah, those gifts.
Yeah, we can, for sure.
Yeah, because man, that was pretty mind-blowing. And I think people will trip out on that, especially being, ex-JWs. And
I know. It's crazy.
Being told what we can and what we can't think about certain things, and being that you're firsthand. Usually the stuff, when I hear stuff like that, I hear it from someone who knew somebody. Oh, yeah, my friend's cousin or some shit like that.
Cousins.
This is firsthand from you. So I'm not even going to say what it is. I'm going to tease them with that, by the way. I'm sorry?
I said my friend's cousin's brother on his dad's side.
Right. Right. No, I swear. Everything he said, no, he wouldn't lie to me. Mm-hmm. He would make this shit up.
Think about, that brings up another thing, like another whole subject about Jehovah's Witnesses and all the little, like, what would you call them? Like urban myths kind of things.
Yeah.
And his history of
JW myths.
No, I knew someone from a congregation that this happened to, except for everyone knew someone from a different congregation the exact same thing happened
Right.
to. Yeah.
Right. Right. And
Smurfs running down the aisle and
the Smurfs. And no
a
one
Smurf
say
biting baby.
anything. Huh?
Did you hear the one about like the Smurf in the crib that bit the baby? And
I haven't heard that one.
no, oh my gosh, that terrified me. I had nightmares about that forever.
Cabbage Patch Kids were demonized too.
What? Okay, I never heard that.
Oh, you never heard that one?
Oh, there were too many people collecting those things.
Ah.
They were like $100 when I was 9 or 10. I mean,
maybe that's why that rumor got started, because nobody wanted to buy their
I
kids.
know, like the poor people, like they're demons. They're demons in them things. We can't buy that for you, baby JoJo. That thing's got a demon.
That's hilarious.
We should make up a meme like that Aliens one, where the guy's like aliens. It says demons.
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 So how about a clothing line called Demons?
Oh my God, that would be best.
Right. I'd wear that.
Yeah.
Let's get them
Yeah.
Everybody else.
At work, I like to say I'm a pagan because I just, when people start talking about stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm a tree worshiper. I'm not, but I just like, you believe in God? Yep. They're my trees. So,
Nice.
yeah.
That tree is more godly than God.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know what my actual beliefs are, but I really believe that there's life in everything, and I think we should revere it, and everything, should be about love, and that's whatever. If that's religious, that's what I got.
Right. So, are we going to do some more of these together?
I think we should.
Yeah, we should. We should.
We should. We make a good team.
We do. Let's do some more.
Okay.
We're hearing you saying you're going to do some more, so it's one thing when you tell me you're going to do it and you don't really do it. But now.
Oh, I see. You're making a pledge to the listening audience.
To listening to all
I feel
four
like
of
you
them.
just trapped me. I feel like that was all about.
Yep. You feel like what?
I feel like you just trapped me.
Yep. You
Yeah.
just trapped yourself.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up then.
Sounds like a plan.
Until next time.
Well, it was nice to do it again. It's been like forever, and it just feels kind of. I feel like I'm a little rusty.
No, you're not.
You don't think?
Nah, it's like riding a bike for you.
I don't know how to ride a bike.
You probably don't.
I do. I broke my ribs riding a bike about 2 years ago.
Oh, God. What are there any injuries? You
Oh,
like
my-
Evil Knievel with all your injuries.
I know. So I was riding a bicycle behind my daughter, and she stopped. And instead of running into her, I decided to put my front brakes on. Brilliant.
Oh,
And-
no.
Yep. And I kind of fell over, and I hit this bush, and when I landed, I cracked a couple of ribs.
Oh, my God.
But she
Kelly,
was
you're going to be so screwed when you're a senior citizen. I'm serious. You're going to be in the hospital all the time. Hate to say it.
Well, I'm trying to take really, really good care of myself, so that is not the case. And
And
my
if it-
is 100 years old. I want to live to 100. So.
If you're one of the 4 people who've heard all the episodes, you know what I'm talking about. Several episodes of you discussing like your latest illness or injury. And bad ones too.
Well, you know what? I have not been in the hospital forever.
Oh, nice.
I have not had any kind of bruises, broken bones, or injuries of any sort since the last time we talked.
There's so much that we have not talked about yet since we talked last. I just realized.
Yeah.
There's been some XJW movies. There have been movies that came out since we talked
I
about the
know.
Jehovah's Witnesses. There's been the Leah Remini special.
Right.
Did you see those things?
I
Any of
didn't
them?
see all of them, but I saw
What'd you
quite a
see?
bit of it, and it was amazing to me how similar things were. Like, I think that there's just such a basic pattern or like blueprint for a cult.
You mean between Scientology and...
Between Scientology, Mormons, JW, whatever. Like even Christianity. I just feel like most religions are a cult. Where I used to think just the little sects were, I feel like all of it is. It's just a
No, I think they are too. Some are just worse than others, that's all.
Yeah. And I think it's
just controlled more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a... Okay, so I have this sweet friend at work, and his mother, after his father and mother got divorced when he was in his early teens, she became a Jehovah's Witness.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about how they came in, the witnesses, and they like helped her, and they took her to meetings, and they supported her, and like it's that love bombing, right? I mean, there is a formula that they use to get people in, and it's always the vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so sad. And one of the things that he said was people who convert are way more fanatical, in his opinion, than people who grow up as a witness. And I had to think about the people that I knew, and I think he's completely correct. People who are converted, like they're all in. Right. They haven't lost anything yet. Like they're not under threat of disfellowshipping. They're like making a choice to disconnect from the rest of the world because of usually some sort of trauma or need or, you know, some lack thereof in their heart. And Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, you know, whatever cult they choose to go to fills that need.
You know, it's really funny. Isaac, in his the episode that he sat in on, he talked about living in New York as a Bethelite, and he said when they went in field service, the people that were interested were never these people in these big beautiful houses with big beautiful cars. He said those were the smart people.
Yeah.
He said the people that always came in were those who were down on their luck, you know, single mother or just got out of prison or something. I forgot where I was going with this. It was something that...
It's filling a void, filling a need.
Right. And, filling a need where there was, like, you know, no purpose before and no hope. And
well, think about it. You have the truth. The rest of the world doesn't. You are of the elite. You are special. Even if, like, you might be poor, that's okay. You know, Jehovah's going to... He's going to provide.
Right.
And then later, you're going to be in, you know, God's glory or whatever you want to call it, like in paradise. You are the elite.
Right. So
you
funny.
get the spoils of the earth. Right? Just like picking a house.
Funny.
People pick like the little cottage on the corner and be like, that's the house I want. No. It's some mansion in the Bahamas or Beth Sarim in San Diego, right? Like, when everybody dies, I'm cleaning that house up of all the bodies, and I'm taking it, you know.
They sure did pick a good place, though. Did you see how beautiful it was over
really
there?
Beautiful. Nice vacation spot for the judge. That's great.
Clouds everywhere, huh? You see that? We should wrap this up, though.
Okay. Yeah, it's getting long.
Because if we don't wrap this up, we'll be like 2.5 hours in at some point, very easily.
Well, you're gonna have to do some good cutting.
Right. So yeah, let's do it again in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan.
So,
all right. Well,
I'm gonna have to like actually check on Twitter and like see who's saying what. And do you post it on Twitter? Is that what you do?
Yeah, I do that.
Okay. Because you're not on Facebook really anymore.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook anymore. I'm a big Twitter person.
Yeah, well, Tweeter.
Yeah, I think it's so much better. But yeah, you do need to get on there.
Yeah, so I heard that Trump's on there a lot. So
that dude is probably making it so hard for people to leave the Jehovah's Witnesses Right up and down. It's the last days.
Oh my God, it's the last days, baby. It is the. He said peace and security. I don't know, like 5 times now.
Right.
I knew every Jehovah's Witness was shitting themselves. Did he? What he say? Wait, what? You know that's what's going on. Yeah. We want peace and security. It'll be a wonderful thing. It'll be a wonderful thing. Fabulous. It'll be tremendous. Tremendous peace and security.
That's pretty good.
You like that?
Nobody knows peace and security like me.
Oh my gosh, yes! No one's gonna bring peace and security like I can bring peace and security. It'll be tremendous.
Best peace and security.
All right.
Can somebody see?